Do you suffer from writer's block? Every time you sit down, do you try to write, but the words just won't come? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about my tried and true strategies for eliminating writer's block forever. What's up, guys? Michael Aran here with Author Level Up, helping you write world-class stories better and faster. And I create these videos because I believe that each of you has Brandon Sanderson level talent, and you just need help unlocking it. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and click that little bell, ding, 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 to get notifications every time I have a new writing video. And in this writing video, we're talking about writer's block. This is actually part of a two-part series where I'm going to tackle writer's block and teach you how to eliminate it from your life forever. But I did want to let you guys know that this series is brought to you by my book, Be a Writing Machine. It is one of my better-selling books for writers, and it is how to write better and faster, beat writer's block, and be prolific. And many of the tips that I'm offering in this video and in the next one come from the book. So you can check out your copy at authorlevelup.com/machine. All right, so let's get into it. A few videos back, I talked about how to finish any novel you write. And I talked about how when we start our books, we're super excited. It's like that honeymoon phase. Everything is going great. And then we reach what I like to call the struggle phase, where it's like around the first 20% of the novel. Once you hit that, then you're starting to get into that murky middle territory. And the excitement and the fun wears off. And that's usually, in my experience, when the writer's block sets in. So if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out at the YouTube card above my head or in the video description to get a feel for what I'm talking about. So there are only three causes to writer's block, all right? The first cause is lack of inspiration. So if you show up to the keyboard and you don't know what to write because you don't have a reference point, or you're just not feeling the creativity, or maybe the muse hasn't hit you and everything that you write feels stale. So you don't have inspiration. That's the first root cause of writer's block. The second root cause of writer's block is fear. Every writer deals with fear to some extent, right? Because we all have these feelings that maybe the book that we're writing isn't good enough, maybe we're not good enough, maybe readers aren't going to like it. And for the most part, a lot of those fears are unfounded. But fear plays a far bigger part of the writing process and contributes to writer's block far more than I think a lot of writers care to acknowledge. And the third root cause of writer's block is what I like to call life events. It's when life suddenly strikes, you suddenly have an illness or a death or a job loss or a pandemic that you have to deal with, and you have to take your energy and your time and focus on dealing with that problem. And so that takes you away from the writing. And that can also be an unconscious cause and a contributor to writer's block as well. So a lot of people come to me and they say, Michael, I just want a magic bullet type solution to eliminate writer's block from my life forever. I just want to take a pill and I want to be cured of writer's block forever. And it doesn't work that way. I found that it is actually a very fluid situation. Writer's block, it's like the weather. It comes and it goes. And when those rainy days happen, you've just got to have the mental tools to be able to disarm it when it happens. Okay? So that is my advice. And I like to think about it like this. Imagine that your brain is a bucket. Kind of a funny analogy, isn't it? Your brain is a bucket. Well, your brain is a bucket, and imagine that your brain is leaking. Your bucket is leaking. Okay, I can't even say. Try saying that really fast. Your bucket is leaking. I don't even know how you would say that. But your bucket is leaking. Okay, and it's leaking inspiration, and it's leaking inspiration because you have holes in that bucket. So what do you do with the leaky bucket? Well, you have to plug the holes, right? So your first hole, the first reason you're leaking inspiration is because of fear, okay? I talk about this all the time on the channel. I've done countless videos on the channel, and I'm probably gonna do countless more videos on the channel because I want all of you to know that there is nothing to be afraid of in the writing life. Whatever it is that you're afraid of right now, you're afraid of readers not buying your book, you're afraid of your book not selling any more copies. Maybe you're selling a lot of copies and your book isn't selling. You're afraid of getting bad reviews. You're afraid that your ads aren't going to work. There's an infinite amount of things to be afraid of as a self-published writer. But I'm here to tell you that you should not be afraid of any of those things, because fear is the number one thing that will create writer's block for you, and it will spring up and create all of these barriers that you just don't know how to deal with. So you have to eliminate your fear. And fortunately, in the next video, we're going to talk about that. Okay. But that's your first hole. Your second hole is what I like to call life events. Okay. So this is when something comes up and you have to deal with that. So for example, maybe you lose your job, or maybe you're worried about making rent. Okay. And you got to pick up some extra hours at work. Okay. So when you're in the middle of that situation, you're going to come to your computer and try to write, but you're probably going to be really tired, and your brain is going to be so focused on getting you through whatever the short-term solution is that you have to do in order to solve that problem. Okay, so this could be a illness of a loved one, it could be aging parents. There's any number of things that can be life events that can halt your creativity. And I personally believe, and this is just my opinion, be curious to get your all's thoughts on this in the comments, is that this is your subconscious's way of telling you need to handle other problems elsewhere. Okay. Now, it's not saying you need to quit. It's not saying you don't need to write at all, but maybe there are more pressing issues that you need to deal with. And when those issues are dealt with, you'll find that when you return to the keyboard, that the writer's block magically goes away. So those are the two holes in your bucket. You plug the fear, you plug the life events, and then all of a sudden we've stopped the leak, right? That's really good. But now, what you probably find that you don't have any water in your bucket. So what do you do? How do you get that water coming back into your bucket so that you've got a full bucket to work with? I know this analogy is getting obnoxious, but I love it. So how do you fill your bucket if it's empty? The first thing you do is what I call an idea log. So this could be a notebook that you keep in your pocket. It could be an app on your phone like Evernote or OneNote, whatever you choose. You pick your poison. And when you're living your life and you come across something and you're like, that would be a really good idea to put in a novel someday. What you do is you stop what you're doing, you get out your notebook or your app, and you capture it. All right. Now, the cool thing about apps like Evernote is they let you capture photos, and you can capture audio, and you can capture video and keep them all there together too. And I think that is really, really cool from an inspiration perspective. Cool from an inspiration perspective. Can't talk today. So if you find that you start doing this every day, it's going to train your imagination to start paying attention to what's around you. All right. So if you pay attention to your surroundings, you start capturing those ideas. That's the same as starting to pour more water into that bucket. But the thing is, you've got to do it consistently, and you've got to do it a lot. So that way, when you come back to the page and you're looking at that blank cursor and you're thinking, I don't know if I'm going to be able to write anything, you pull out your notebook, you look through it, and maybe there's an idea or two that you can take and put into your work in progress. I've been doing this for years, and I've got thousands and thousands of different notes that I have for inspiration, and it has saved me more than once. So that is my recommendation on keeping an idea log. That will keep that water flowing into your leaky bucket. The next tip I offer to you is to read regularly. Right? So when you're reading, you're exposing yourself to new ideas, you're exposing yourself to new experiences, you're exposing yourself to things that maybe you hadn't considered about the world, and reading is a tremendous way to start to replenish your bucket and make sure that you have a steady flow of ideas coming into your life. Now, I know many of you, you're probably already avid readers, and I don't have to tell you to read books. That's one cool thing about being a writer is you're already going to be reading. But make sure you're reading on a regular basis. If you ever stop reading, make sure you catch yourself and just continue it, because you'll find that the more you read, the more creative you'll be. And the next thing to do to fill your bucket is to expose yourself to new things. So, don't just stay at home all the time if you can avoid it. Try to do something different every weekend, or if you're single, go out and meet new people. If you are stuck at home with your family, go off and do something as a family. There are plenty of things that you can do. A lot of free things in your community that you can do, vacations or traveling somewhere. I mean, all these things create new experiences, and they can inspire you, right? Being in a new place can inspire you. Being exposed to new people or new surroundings can inspire you. So if you focus on that and try every once in a while to put yourself in a situation where you've never been before, that can be a great source of inspiration for you as well. So all of these things will help to fill your bucket. So remember, your mind is a leaky bucket. Plug that fear, plug those life events, and keep those ideas coming in, and you will find that writer's block will go away magically. So in the next video, we're going to be talking about specific strategies on beating writer's block. So I've taught you the analogy. Now I'm going to teach you some strategies. And remember that you can pick up your copy of Be a Writing Machine at authorlevelup.com/machine. That's authorlevelup.com/machine. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your comments on writer's block in the video comments, and I'll see you in the next video.
Perfect.